Right, it is 6 PM. I will call the meeting to order. Crystal, could you do a roll call?
Mayor Pro Tem Young, Mayor Moss is absent. Councilmember Contreras is present. Councilmember Billion is absent. Councilmember Raymond is present. Mayor Pro Tem Young is present. And Councilmember Cole present.
Right, if you would all rise and join me in a moment of silence prior to our pledge. Thank you very much. I do believe, Zachary, would you like to lead us in the pledge?
I guess.
Yes.
Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Sorry to put you on the spot there, but not often I have a future Eagle Scout or an Eagle Scout with us. So the first item is public comments. And we do have Zachary, is it Taipeo? Taipeo? If you would like to come and present what you would.
So my proposal, for Eagle Scout, I have to complete a project that benefits the community. And the project that I propose to do is I'd like to build a flag box that is 6 feet tall by 2 feet wide and leave it at the police station / fire department down the road to keep it from being vandalized. And it would store flags that need to be retired. It would have some information about the history of the American flag and how we retire them at my troop. And then, like every month, my troop would come and empty the box and we'd retire them at campouts. So I was just wondering if the board would approve the box to be left there when it's completed.
Perfect. Well, we don't have that on our agenda, but we do have, where's Tony? I think who works with our Parks Department, that we can kind of put that proposal together for you and get back to you on that. So that's a great first step to come and let us know. And we'll let you know what you need to do from there, okay?
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Be sure to give your, Tony,
I was gonna.
you get, okay, all right.
So thank you
Thank you.
so much. All right, our next speaker is Francis Horch.
So sorry.
That's all right. Thank you.
Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council, thank you for your service to our community and for the opportunity to speak before you. Chief Franklin and Chief Schneider, thank you for your continued efforts to keep our city safe. My name is Francis Horch, and I live at 901 Sandbass Court. During the last several council meetings, I reached out to you and asked for your help in resolving the damages my property easement sustained during the road construction. I also provided lists of unresolved road construction property easement damages with some of the photos. Currently, I reach out to you for your assistance in resolving the damages because several have not been resolved and/or repaired. Respectfully, I would like to know the status and/or the plan of what you and the city proposes to do to repair the damages which are on the list I have provided. And then I also included in the notes I just gave you my questions that I had concerning the June 11th agenda item number 10 that Councilmember Renenbaum read for action and Willow Park posted on the community news that was titled Notice of Intention to Issue City of Willow Park Texas Certificates of Obligation. I have questions concerning that because there were some specific information that was not addressed during Councilman Renenbaum's reading of the statute. Specifically, what land and what rights of way does the city intend to acquire? What self-supporting revenue sources is the city referring to pay off the debt? And if the self-supporting revenue sources is insufficient to pay off the debt, how much will the property owners and/or citizens be taxed to cover the debt? And also, are the certificates of obligation to cover the contractual obligations to be incurred because of the proposed annexations, the city's purchase of land, extraterrestrial jurisdiction, and the proposed treatment of other jurisdictions and other cities' wastewater? One thing I did not include in the notes that I gave you, that I have a great concern about, is I have discovered through, I don't have photographs to show you, but on our intersection that they redid on the corner of Sam Bass Court and Trinity Drive, the road is already eroding, the brand-new road. It has pit marks in it. There is potholes that are forming. And I wanted to let you all know, because I believe that there should be some kind of warranty that XIT has provided the city for. You may not be aware of it. I'm very watchful of what goes on as far as the construction while it was going on, and I can't figure out why on earth a major intersection in our subdivision is already deteriorating, less than a year old. Thank you very much for your time.
All right, thank you. I will say some of your questions, we do have an agenda item presentation on the Certificate of Obligation series, so some of those questions may be answered during the discussion and presentation.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, the next item on our agenda, on the consent agenda, is to approve the city council meeting minutes for the regular meeting, June 25th, 2024. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the city council meeting minutes from the regular meeting, June 25th, 2024.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? All right, motion passes. All right, the next item is the Willow Park Police Department accreditation presentation by Chief Lance Arnold with the Texas Police Chiefs Association. Arnold, thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, members of the council. My name is Lance Arnold, and I'm honored tonight to represent the Texas Police Chiefs Association. The Texas Police Chiefs Association is made up of over 1,500 professional police chiefs throughout the state who are dedicated to improving the quality of police services. I'm here this evening to present the Willow Park Police Department and Chief Franklin with a certificate of reaccreditation for continuing to maintain their compliance with the Texas Law Enforcement's Best Practices program for the past 4 years. Several years ago, the Texas Police Chiefs Association developed an accreditation program for Texas law enforcement. Many of you know about the accreditation programs you find in schools and universities and hospitals. They are all programs of professional excellence and all require proof of compliance with a set of professional standards. Ours is similar. It is a voluntary program where agencies must prove they meet or exceed 173 difficult standards. The standards are based on Texas law, Texas case court decisions, and contemporary best practices as identified by the TPCA. These standards address the full range of law enforcement operations and services. This program has become the new gold standard for professional law enforcement in Texas, and agencies across the state are working diligently to meet these requirements. Approximately 4 years ago, your Willow Park Police Department first attained their accredited status with the TPCA, and it's not an easy task, I can tell you. The agency had to conduct a complete audit of all of its policies, procedures, and operations in order to meet these standards. Since that time, the agency has submitted annual reports that were reviewed to ensure they continued to meet the standards and continued to provide the citizens of Willow Park with effective police services. In February of this year, trained assessors, police chiefs, and command officers from other parts of our state spent 2 days conducting another assessment of the Willow Park Police Department. These assessors interviewed staff, inspected facilities and operations, met with field officers, and ensured compliance with all standards. Their report was then sent to the accreditation committee, comprised of 9 active police chiefs from around the state who reviewed the report and voted to award accreditation status. I'm here to tell you tonight that their vote was unanimous. During this process, the Willow Park Police Department has once again proven that it meets or exceeds the best practices for professional law enforcement in the state of Texas. Of the 2,800 law enforcement agencies in Texas, only 212 agencies have achieved accredited status, and fewer than that have been reaccredited. Just to make that point, that's only 8% of the law enforcement agencies in the state of Texas. This evening, we officially recognize the Willow Park Police Department for their outstanding performance. What exactly does this mean for your community? The accreditation program assures both city management and the citizens of Willow Park that their police department is operating in a manner that reflects the current best practices of Texas law enforcement. It means that your police department is continually striving for professional excellence. It also means that your police department is one of the very best in this state. The certificate we present this evening is symbolic. While it's clearly the mark of professional excellence, the real value of the program is the process that they must complete to receive the certificate. And once again, this is not the end of the process. The department will continue to submit annual reports to assure continued compliance, and in 4 years, we'll be back for another on-site inspection to ensure the agency is continuing to comply with all standards. The Willow Park Police Department is a leader in law enforcement in Texas, and you should be very proud of their accomplishment. Chief Franklin, will you please come forward and accept my congratulations for you and your team's excellence.
Council, if y'all will kind of scoot in. And then I tilt towards me just a hair. Very good, can see you. There we go. All right, count of 1, 2, 3. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Chief. Congratulations, Chief.
Thank you. I would stay, but I gotta do this now.
All right, the next item on our agenda is presentation of TextMyGov, the city's new communications software.
Good evening, council, staff, esteemed Facebook viewers. So one of the things as one of our long-term goals in our strategic communications plan has been reaching unreached audiences. So I've been doing some research, and one of the things that we are learning, particularly through some of our software that we use to interact with the public, is that there's a lot of people who feel like they're being apped to death. They don't want yet another app. They don't want yet another thing they have to sign in with a password. Particularly among our older audiences, that's a real concern. That's one of the audiences we identified as somebody we were having a little more trouble reaching. So I started doing a little research on what was going to be easier for those folks. How can they get answers to their questions? How can they get a prompt response? How can they get directed to the correct information? I beta tested it on Bill. So pass that test. That's not the way it sounded.
Wow, shots fired.
My target demographic approved. So basically what we've done is we've launched a service called TextMyGov. And all you have to do in order to get most commonly answered questions to the city is you have to text us. So we have a dedicated phone number now. And when you text it, there are keywords such as trash, water, sewer, brush pickup, we've got it programmed with, I think it's something like 38 responses so far. We've soft launched it on the website. There's a little widget on the website that directs people to it. So we've had it running for about 2 weeks. There are 2 major bugs that I've identified that we're fixing. The first one is that we're getting asked some questions that I didn't have pre-programmed. We got one over the weekend on how do I contact and make it to jail. I didn't have that programmed in, so we fixed that. If we get something that it does not already have an answer to, it sends me an email. And it says, hey, we've got something we don't know about, which allows me, number 1, to reach out to the person that had the question and get back to them. And number 2, allows me to program that response so we have it for future reference. The other bug we're running into is that people think they're talking to a live person. So that's something we're just going to have to work with and train folks on. But I think that's something that we'll get down in time. One of the things about this that I'm really excited about is it allows me to heat map the inquiries coming in. So in 6 months, I can look and see, we've gotten this same question about trash 100 times. This is something we need to be messaging more often about. That combined with the heat mapping software that I've installed on our website, I'm now able to see the information the public is looking for most often and tailor our messaging accordingly. It also allows us to do outgoing messages. So we had the alert sense system, and we're still using that for right now. This one is much more precise and much more, it's an opt-out system versus an opt-in. So whereas people had to sign up for the alert sends, I automatically have everybody's number now. And if, say, Tyler is on the street corner doing a water repair, he can geofence that street and text just those people and say, hey, we're about to cut your water off, just so you know. So it allows us a much more precise, accurate, and much quicker way of communicating with folks in situations like that. Code enforcement is going to be installing the same software, so they actually have, Carla, when's your meeting? Tomorrow. They start their implementation meeting tomorrow. So we're very excited about it. The phone number, if you want to write it down, is 817-458-3443. 817-458-3443. If you text the word hi to this number, it will automatically start asking you questions about, hi, how can I help you? Thank you for contacting the city of Willow Park. What is your information? You know, you can give it keywords, you can ask it questions, it's programmed through all of the responses. It is also available bilingual, because I identified that we do have a small portion of our community that is Spanish speaking primarily, so we now have that as an option for them to communicate with us in Spanish as well. That pretty much covers all of the information I wanted to share with you guys about it. Do y'all have any questions?
My question would be, great, you're telling us about it. Rick is writing it down. Maybe it'll make the community news. How else do you plan to get this out?
So we're going to advertise it on all of our channels, which include the website, the social media. We're going to put it on Nextdoor. Nextdoor is a huge audience for us. It's been
Okay.
remarkably huge. I'm also going to put some posters up around town.
Okay.
One of the things that we learned, that I learned in some of my more recent training, is that a poster is more effective than you think.
Okay.
So I'm actually going to do some boots on the ground paper flyers for this.
Just actually has it going on our website.
Yes, and we'll see the little widget in the corner.
Oh, yes, I did notice that.
And there's also a number that people can text that will opt them into our outgoing messages in case they're not on that list. But we have a pretty comprehensive database of everyone's numbers at this point. So they have to tell us stop if they don't want us texting them anymore versus them having to go through a lengthy sign-up process in order to get on that list.
Perfect.
Anybody else?
Great job. Appreciate it.
Yes.
That's great.
Thank you.
Good job, Rose.
All right, the next item on our agenda is discussion action to approve an amendment to the interlocal agreement between the City of Willow Park and Parker County for dispatch services.
Evening, Mayor Pro Tem, members of council. What you have is the second addendum to the original interlocal agreement with Parker County Dispatch. This is one of, I believe, there's 4 total. So basically, each year it's going to go up about 30%. And this is what this is. It's the 30% increase, I believe it's 31% increase for the cost and dispatch services for us to dispatch to the county.
How many calls or does that per year? I mean, over a 12-month period, about how many calls would get handled through that? You know?
I don't, without having the
Okay.
numbers for me, I
That's
don't know. I don't know how much they actually take per year, but it's the same for each agency other than Alito ISD. So Hudson Oaks and us and Alito we contract through Parker County to dispatch, and it's the same for each agency.
I see.
Other than Alito, because they don't really get many calls.
So we're paying, so we have this increase in the budget that we're
Yeah.
going to talk about tonight, so it's already in there. But Hudson Oaks, Willow Park, I guess Springtown's doing their own now, is that correct?
They keep going back and forth. I believe they are back with Parker County.
Okay.
But I'm not for sure on that. They were with Parker County, they left because of the increase, the amount of increase, and I believe they have gone back since then. And I believe Reno is about to start dispatch to them as well.
Okay.
All right, any other questions for Chief? Do we have a motion?
When you say that I should do whatever the amount to go, whatever, 1,000.
Yeah, I mean, whatever y'all are comfortable with.
You have it there? All right.
I'll make a motion to accept and approve the addendum to dispatch interlocal agreement for cost increase to $101,000, $101,556.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion?
Can you repeat the amount again?
I need better glasses. All in favor? All right. Wonderful, thank you. Next item is discussion action to approve the advertisement contract with Trinity Christian Academy.
I'm back. Council, this is pretty much chapter and verse, similar to the agreement that we made with Owendo ISD at the June 25th meeting. We will be advertising on the scoreboard at the field for Trinity Christian. And it is a contract amount in the amount of $5,000 per year for 3 years. The mock-up that you see in your agenda packet is not the final version. I'm still working with City Manager Grimes on exactly what we want that to look like. But it's going to be pretty similar in the vein of some of the other promotional things we've been doing as far as tourism and marketing and those sorts of things coming to town. Does anyone have any questions?
All right.
And it's 5 for 3 years
Yes, ma'am.
total for each year.
Do we have a motion?
Question. You said it was 5K per year.
5K for 3
per
years.
year
5K
for 3 years, so 15.
5K per year at 3 years. for
15,000.
Okay, yes,
Oh.
ma'am.
I was just asking for data purposes, thank you.
I'll make a motion to authorize the Mayor Pro Tem to sign an agreement with Trinity Christian Academy for advertising campaign promoting the city of Willow Park.
Have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion or questions?
Just to make comment, it wasn't said, but it says here, it can be paid out of the hot tax, the hotel occupancy tax, that's correct.
Yes.
So,
Trinity Christian Academy is actually a great opportunity for us because a lot of their opponents that come play are from hours and hours away. So it's a wonderful opportunity for us to promote all of those things that would associate this with.
okay.
All right, any other questions, comments? All in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next item will be our quarterly department reports. Are we doing presentations or?
If council has any questions from the reports, we'll be more than happy to answer them. Staff is here. We do have a couple of updates. Obviously, the parks, the trail system is up and running. I think we're going to do a soft opening or a ribbon cutting. Is it, we're doing the ribbon cutting next week?
August 15th.
Okay, I had, to me, it is August already. So that, the ever-popular Christmas lighting discussion will happen at some point in the future. And so staff looks forward to hearing council's input on that. We've redid the billboard. We changed it, so we got both those taken care of. Chase? What was our water demand?
For the month.
Month of July, or month of June?
June was a total production of 16,034,023 gallons.
So a little bit, 500,000 a day? Okay. So, Michelle is out on sick leave for the next couple of weeks, so Chase has been filling in, and we've enjoyed having Chase around City Hall. He's a cheerful person. Hey, Derek, or can y'all talk about the wastewater treatment plant? Where are we at on it? Sure, yeah.
So, thank you. Good evening, council. They have been pouring concrete for the concrete basins for quite some time. They're getting toward the end of that process, about to start laying some utilities to bring water and sewer into the site. But they're probably going to be doing the concrete work for the better part of another month and a half or so, and then they'll start on some more of the intricate part of the plant, the actual treatment systems and things like that. So they're moving along pretty well. Doing a good job. In spite of some wet weather and other things down in that low area, they kept going pretty well.
I noticed in the report that the effluent line is now discharging solely to, was it Ward 26, is it? 23, 26?
23.
The
I
Squaw
didn't
Creek.
hear all that, but
The
it's
effluent
starting
line?
into the
Yes.
Squaw Creek.
Yes, that's,
Yep.
okay.
That was confirmed with Squaw Creek yesterday, and they are very, very thankful.
Okay. Update on the street project?
Yes, I was about to-
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Gretchen?
I didn't know if that was Derek or Gretchen, so.
Can you just brief council briefly on what you've done as far as the driveway approaches and,
So we met with the Crown Road and Ranch House residents last week. We took the driveway exhibits with us to explain to them what we were gonna do per council's directive. We created a form with a brief description of what we were doing, and it's got a section for them to either accept or decline the proposed improvements. I've gotten close to half of those forms back. I'm waiting for some others, but I'll contact them either later in the week, next week, and see where we are.
Okay.
is it fair to say that if someone declines or we don't get a form back, by the time we actually take this out to bid, it's going to be too late for them to, I guess, accept?
And I'll explain that when I give them.
When is that going out for bid?
Probably in the next couple of weeks.
Okay. And then as far as the speed bumps on Crown, how soon before we get the, a few more weeks before they come in?
Yeah, I confirmed this Monday morning with an email. They had been ordered, and they said roughly 4 to 5 weeks for delivery.
Okay.
And then the hydro mulch,
The hydro mulch, we're thinking mid-September for hydro mulch.
Okay.
From Ranch House, 'cause it's too long. There's a few areas where we would have to regrade to make that 3 to 1 slope. We're gonna wanna do that before we hydro mulch.
Okay.
Okay.
It's in the works.
okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Gretchen? All right, any other questions on the staff reports or any other things you want to cover, Brian?
Chief, are you good? You got anything you want to add,
Great reports.
Tony? We should have, I think is Jake coming back next month to do the financials?
He'll finish the June
Mm-hmm.
recs tomorrow, and so probably mid-month in August, he'll do July, and then we'll be good for him to do
Okay, probably the last meeting in August. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, well, all the other reports, I want to say thank you, Rose, Michelle,
Yeah.
Chief, Charlie, all of y'all, great job, thank you. All right, if there are no other questions on the quarterly department reports, we'll move on to discussion only, the budget workshop.
Yes, ma'am.
It's all yours.
All right. I'm not going to get into tax rates today. So you have in front of you the preliminary report of the budget. This will be the report that I file with the city secretary tomorrow with any changes or suggestions from council. Keep in mind, the budget that I file with the city secretary, we're not bound to adopt it. It's just the preliminary that we're going to, it's a 30-day notice that we can approve the budget. So the budget is, and staff has heard this probably the last 2 months for sure, maybe the last 3. It's a flat budget. We're trying to keep our expenses exactly the same. We did have a COLA for staff in there, and there are some obvious increases due to inflation or health insurance went up and things of that nature. So we did have those adjustments, but those adjustments have already been provided in this budget that you have in front of you. Our sales tax is down. It's also down in other parts of the county as well. Other communities are suffering the same slow times, if you will. I think inflation has a lot to do with that. And I'll just leave it at that. If anybody wants to know my opinion on that after, off the record, I'll be more than happy to tell you.
Well, I noticed you have, it's slow. You have the same budget last year's estimate as next year.
Yes.
So you do think we'll be able to hit?
I think we're going to,
Okay.
yeah. When we.
It's not growth.
Yeah, I think we're going to hit that number. I just don't think we're going to, typically, this is the first, and me and Bill were having this discussion, it's the first time I can ever remember this happening. We're going to bring in less sales tax than we did the year previously. We're going to bring in, I say less, not significantly, we're going to hit that number for all intents and purposes. We're probably going to be at 95% of the budgeted number of the $2,050,000. I expect us to hit that number again. You're starting to see, it's interesting because sales tax was really doing well, and then you can see development slowing down. And so this is almost a year, 18 months ago, you could see development slowing down. That's going to lag your sales tax. You're starting to see development kick back up again. They're building, this doesn't sound like a whole lot, but it's pretty significant. They're building a Taco Bueno and a Papa John's over there. That's $80,000, $90,000 just out of those two businesses in sales tax. So there's your delta. There's some other businesses that we were expecting to come online this fiscal year. They did not. We're hopeful that they will in the next 12 months. So it's just slow. If you talk to our business community, I agree with them. Trying to build and do stuff at 9% money is not easy. And so we're kind of feeling that. Hopefully, we're going to be coming out of that pretty soon, though.
Okay.
So there's your sales tax question. We kept everything relatively the same. I think we could probably go up on mixed beverage tax, but I'm going to keep that conservatively low.
Not making much of a dent in the budget. All right, any other questions for Brian on that? When do we expect to pass the budget and the tax rates?
Okay, I gotta have a budget calendar in the back. By the way, we've added this year, it's in the preliminary for anybody interested. We have the INS debt obligations, so our number that we reported to the CAD was a little over 2 million in debt obligations. Keep in mind, we're starting to hit the cliff, the debt cliff that we've discussed for a number of years. We always said like it's out there, and it's now getting close. The debt cliff's actually a good thing for people listening. Our debt obligations are going to decrease tremendously, and so we're kind of coming out of some of the stuff we've done. The budget calendar, obviously we're doing the workshop tonight. Tomorrow I'm going to file the budget with the city secretary. We've already got our certified appraisal back from the CAD. I got it 3:30 today, so it's the certified value is the number, and then they take off the deductions. That's not actually what we base our tax rate off of. I'm getting that next week. The plan's to hold a tax rate hearing or discussion of tax rate. We're going to have a record vote on the proposed tax rate on August the 27th. We will publish that August 30th in the community news, and then we will adopt the tax rate in the budget on September the 10th. A reminder, we have to adopt the budget before October 1, so before September 30. So this kind of we don't have a lot of play, but we do have some. I will need 4 of the 5 council members present for the vote on the budget.
Okay. Thank you.
So if anybody knows you're not going to be here on September the 10th, please tell me now or as soon as possible.
Okay.
Contreras.
I'll be here.
All right, the next item on the agenda is discussion only, the Certificate of Obligation for Series 2024A, Water and Wastewater. Derek, I know we have these.
I handed out to, does anybody, I have some extra copies of Derek's presentation. Does anybody want one? I know staff can't wait to get their hands on them.
Okay.
Is this in the packet? Or do they have this?
They have that, they have a smaller version of that map, yes.
I have a slightly larger version if anybody needs it. So the water and sewer components of the bond that we're discussing have to do with basically the Bankhead corridor serving the areas east of Willow Bend area generally. As you can see on the map, and if you can just make out the colors of the lines, I can explain what this is. It's just too hard to read a little bit. There are roughly four components, or basically four components to what we're talking about. There would be a gravity sewer line coming from the Bell property on the east end, running down Bankhead to the low point in Bankhead, which is around Broadway, if you know where that is. And that would allow collection of sewer all along that route, rather than, as opposed to a force main coming from the east end all the way. But then there would have to be, in order to accomplish that, there would have to be a lift station at that low point. And this is all east of the Willow Park Village lift station. So it's in close proximity to it, but it's at a lower elevation. So we would pick up all of that sewer on the gravity line there and then pump it up to the Willow Park Village lift station, at least in the planning term, the 5 to 10 year time frame. That's what would be envisioned. And then, so there would be a force main from that new lift station to the Willow Park Village lift station. And then to accommodate all of that additional sewer flow within the collection system, within the distribution system to the plant, the existing force main between the Willow Park Village lift station and the manhole that's up in Willow Bend or Willow Creek crossing up in that area, around the Fuzzies area. Or actually, it's a little south of that in the Villages of Willow Park. But that, replacing that force main is currently a 6, it would need to be upsized to an 8, and pull it out of that neighborhood, and so that would allow for that additional flow to go through. That's what would be required on the sewer side. On the water side, we're proposing to lay a 12-inch water line along I-20, and this will be all on the north side of this corridor. Coming from the existing 12-inch that kind of crosses at the El Chico pump station well site, and then running down I-20 all the way to the Bell property and allowing the pickup of everything in between those two locations. If you look at the table, if we break it into components, we kind of phased it initially in our discussions, the way we described this, but the force main from Willow Park Village to where the new lift station would be is estimated at about $400,000. The new lift station at the low point that I mentioned would be roughly $800,000, or is $800,000 on the estimate. And then the gravity line from that location to the east end on the bill is $1.6 million. And replacement of the force main going from Willow Park Village up to the existing manhole was $380,000. And then I didn't mention, but also the pumps in the Willow Park Village lift station need to be upgraded as well, and that's estimated at $150,000, and that's also included. And then the 12-inch water line along I-20 was $1.67. So it's roughly, so our estimate's slightly, it's right at 5, slightly under $5 million. That's it.
Question? Or-
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, I think you're going to ask my question.
I hope so. The 12-inch water line, what is the capacity of that line as far as a day? How many gallons can we send that way?
That's always a difficult question. That depends on a lot of different things, but it's about 1.25, 1.5 MGD.
Okay,
We're sizing it to accommodate 1 MGD at the Bell.
right.
And then whatever we might pick up in between. So our estimates, their estimates that they gave us are about 1 MGD for their demand. We want to have enough to be able to serve additional. Now, if we do eventually long-term plan would probably be to loop that back in at Bankhead,
Mm-hmm.
and that would significantly increase that as well.
Right, okay.
Well, that hits on my question, but since we're on that, so capacity of 1 million gallons per day. I know we haven't had a full discussion on what we think the Bell annexation would be, but if they're looking at 1 million gallons per day, how does that fit into what we have available to us now and what we're using? I know we had a little bit of asking Chase what we, so do we think we have enough water that adding this infrastructure would not be a problem?
Yeah, and I apologize that that's not information I had in the presentation, but I believe you're at about 3.67 MGD from Fort Worth.
Okay.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Plus roughly 1 or a little less in your current well supply, so your current use, I'm guessing your peak right now is about 800,000 or 900,000.
Okay.
And so you've got
Well
plenty of
above.
access to that.
Okay.
That sounds
Yeah,
right.
it's a little hovering a little closer to $1 million, but that still gives us a big gap.
Wells can produce what, 1 million, 1.5 million probably, Chase?
Anywhere from $1 million to $1.5 million, depending on aquifer level.
Yeah.
Aquifer for the whole.
Yes, and then let's just call it 3.6 from Fort Worth, so you're over 5 MGD a day. Our peak, so this is obviously a wet year, so we don't have July's numbers yet, but they're not going to, last July, the peak was 1.8.
Yeah, I say 1.8, yeah.
Yeah, so even in the biggest drought that we've had in a while, I don't know if y'all remember last year or not, but even in the biggest drought, our peak was 1.8. And so you still had your wells, and then you still had the Fort Worth water. And that was for the current footprint of the town. So we haven't added a whole lot of other additional connections from last July, so.
You didn't ask, but on the sewer
Yeah,
side,
oh, that was next. You
uh,
read my mind.
so what it appears based on the kind of first stage build out for Bell and what we think is going to happen in between Bell and the existing system, that we can accomplish that in the new plant that's being built, along with the other commitments that are being made. But it will put you into the situation where you've got to start the planning process for additional capacity. So you need to know that, you know, the long-term build out, which I think in my report, I did a report on this, and I think on the 10-year and beyond time frame, there would need to be plans in place to expand the treatment capacity.
But as we know, we've already been permitted for that expanded capacity,
Right.
but we just haven't funded the
This would be the
construction.
physical,
Right.
yeah, this would be the physical upgrade. You've got a 1 MGD capacity
Yep.
through your permit capacity.
For
Yep.
900.
950,000. Just a hair under 1 million.
Any other questions for Derek?
Derek, we're going to do right-of-way is going to be through the public utilities, is that correct? On Bankhead and Frontage Road?
Runway in the public right of way.
Yeah, in the public, yeah, okay.
Yeah, we've contacted the engineers for the Bankhead improvement, and I-20 would be a permit through TxDOT. The Bankhead improvement, we're gonna try to coordinate that so that we take advantage of the work that they're gonna be doing and maybe save some money on installation. But it would be in public right.
When is the county planning to start the rebuild?
So I haven't answered that. It's gonna be a little while, and so I'm not sure, construction-wise, I don't know that works for us, but we might be able to plan it where improvement-wise, like for instance paving, or pavement repair, we might minimize some of that we would have to do in advance of them coming in and tearing it up and redoing it. So I think it's more of a situation like that than it is actually coming in right in front of them and laying the line. So I would just, I don't know yet, I haven't got an answer yet.
Yeah.
So I don't have one, but it's going to be a few years.
I'll ask Tony, Chase, Derek, feel free to answer. Do we, obviously this is going over to the Bell property, do we expect to pick up customers along the way?
Yes.
Okay. Chase, do you think once they see the sewer lines and the water
They
lines?
see pipe hit the ground, they're gonna pick up a phone call.
Okay.
When can we attach? Guaranteed.
Okay.
All right, I had additional
Sure, go ahead.
questions of you, not
Okay.
of Derek. So the
Thank you.
discussion of how the debt is
Mm-hmm.
structured, can you cover, because I think we had the question of whether
Yep.
it's within the
Yep.
enterprise funds or supported by taxes?
So every debt issuance will have to have some sort of tax supporting to it, but this is considered self-supporting debt, which is through the enterprise fund, which is water revenues. We anticipate with what we think Bell, or what we have been told Bell is going to put on the ground, that that development will pay for this just through user fees. So we feel confident. Michelle feels very confident about it. I ran the numbers too. The question is it a 2-year window for it to be built out, or is it a 3-year window? And those are obviously some discussions that we're going to have, separately from this. But we feel good that the user fees for the development and along the way, I think we're going to that along the way is going to be really significant as well. We've had tremendous interest, especially along the Bankhead corridor, for water and sewer.
So what's the timing for implementing all of it, as far as funding?
That's probably more dependent upon the Bell Developers Agreement and some discussions that we need to continue with Mr. Bell on. I think from a staff standpoint, I feel comfortable or confident that we're going to get some sort of an agreement done with Bell on this. But, we're not, we're kind of bound. I don't want to jump the shark and issue the debt too soon, but I also don't want Bell to wait on us. I do not anticipate us issuing debt on the 13th as we had published. We'll probably have some sort of postponement on that to push it back to the 27th or maybe even September the 10th. Again, that just kind of goes back to how quickly we can come to an agreement on the developers agreement.
Okay, do y'all have any other questions for Brian? This is a discussion only, so
No motion, no action.
the action would be.
Bless you.
God bless you. All right, do we want to do, let's go ahead and do the informational.
Sure.
Move on to Mayor
I'll let him know.
Pro Tem and City Council comments. Does anyone have any comments or requests for future agenda items?
Yes, I do.
Right.
I'd like to make sure we reach out to Zach Typolo, the Eagle Scout, on his project to support that, so that way we have a spot in Willow Park where we can retire the flags accordingly. So I really want to make sure we get that. I know Chief Franklin and I have kind of talked about it a little bit, but with Tony now involved on it, I think we'll get this thing moving in the right direction. So appreciate that.
And are we going to have a conversation sometime about the Squaw Creek Road reconstruction, water line replacement? What is that looking like?
Yes, that has been assigned to Gretchen to get it going, and Gretchen has obviously been preoccupied with Crown Road longer than we anticipated. And so I think when we get the driveways done, there'll be time for her to sit down and start working on Squaw Creek.
And do we need to be?
I'll bring you ice. I was gonna say, I'll bring you some ice cream and some cookies, because I know you like those.
Any other requests or comments? All right, Brian, do you have any?
No, I just, it's been an interesting summer so far. I appreciate the community's working with staff on some of these street projects, and I just know that it's moving pretty slow now, but we've got stuff coming, we've got stuff ordered, we're still on it. We have not forgotten the projects that are coming up. TML went out, the registration opened today? Okay. Oh, I thought it was yesterday. Opened today at 10, and if any council member is interested in going, please let us know. I'm looking at you, Nate. If you've never been to TML, it's a great experience. It's in Houston. Unfortunately, I will not be able to attend this year.
You would have your own personal tour guide.
So if you want to go, we reserve 4 spots. Council has first right of refusal. If you're not going to go, or you know for sure you're not going to go, let us know and we can assign a staff member to go.
Mid-October?
It's October 9th through 11th, so Wednesday to Friday.
Not me.
It's in Houston.
Houston.
All right.
I just wanted to remind everybody that I did hand out, Eric Hoops had submitted his written request, so I just want to make sure.
Yes.
Houston, home of the first place Houston Astros, Bill.
It is anticipated that all or a portion of the discussion of the foregoing item will be conducted in closed executive session under authority of Section 551 of the Texas Open Meetings Act. However, no action will be taken on this item until the city council reconvenes in open session. We will recess to executive session at 6:52 p.m. You know, he could drive it off.
This is the second time in 8 months. I told him, I said, I can drive you home.
Stop. I make a motion to approve the Second Empire Brewing LLC Chapter 380 agreement.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other questions or discussions? All in favor? All right. Any other comments, questions, announcements? All right, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Meeting adjourned.